Federal employees thinking about retirement, and if you're not, you should be, tend to concentrate on what they can save. When you actually retire, it pays to think about what you spend, or if you want to spend and maximize your Thrift Savings Plan. Federal News Network's Drew Friedman got more insight when she spoke with federal retiree and financial consultant Abe Grungold.
If you're an active federal employee, it is critical to maximize to your TSP so you can have the best retirement possible. And if you're a federal retiree, it's important to monitor your expenses, and you may have to live on a budget. So there are ways to save money for both of these category of employees. And the first one that you mentioned is life insurance. So life insurance, if you're a federal employee, can be very expensive. And the government offers several life insurance programs that are easily obtained. And then you can acquire life insurance outside of the government. But what you really have to ask yourself, whether you're an active federal employee or you're a retiree, how much life insurance do you really need? You need as much life insurance as you have long-term debt. You need to cover that. So if you're a young federal employee, you may not have any debt early in your career. And when you're a federal retiree, you may not have any debt at that stage of your life. So you need to evaluate how much life insurance do you really need, and you need to shop around.
Beyond that, there's other kind of day-to-day expenses. I know a big one that you have pointed out before, Abe, is eating out. So how much can federal retirees be spending in that?
Well, whether you're an active federal employee or whether you're a retiree, I know that as an active federal employee, we used to eat out every day. That was a big part of our workday, was eating out, breakfast and lunch. And as a federal retiree, it becomes also a big part of your day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, getting together with friends. So as a retiree, in today's dollars, I found myself spending $100 for breakfast a week, $100 for lunch a week. And if I go out 3 times a week for dinner, I'm spending another $300. That's $500 a week. You really need to watch that very carefully. And you could save yourself quite a bit of money on the breakfast and the lunch just by eating at home. And if you go out with friends, just kind of research what restaurants are out there where you could try to save some money. And today, the younger generation does a lot of takeout. They do these takeout meals from restaurants, and everyone loves, restaurants and eating out, and they do the takeout 3-4, several times a day. You need to monitor that expense very carefully.
Yeah, that's something that can definitely add up, especially if you're not paying close attention to it. Another big one that I would imagine changes a lot for a lot of people over a lifetime and as you get older is the cost of medicine or medication. Do you have any recommendations for how people can try to budget for that better?
Yes, medicine is a very expensive thing, both for young federal employees and especially for retirees. You should research the FEHB health plans this coming open season and look to see which ones offer a drug benefit to that health plan. That's very critical. And I took advantage of that as a federal employee. Now that I'm a federal retiree, I take more advantage to that benefit because, unfortunately, as you get older, you may need medications from time to time. Another good way is to shop around the various pharmacies like CVS, Walgreens, Costco, and price out your medication to those pharmacies And you'd be surprised that a lot of them offer them at different prices. So this is a very important thing. And also consider generic brands. You can save yourself a tremendous amount of money with generic brands.
And couldn't opening maybe a flexible spending account or a health savings account also help with some of those costs?
Absolutely. I certainly took advantage of my flexible spending account because you are contributing pre-tax dollars and you can get reimbursed for any type of a medical need, such as medicine, doctor's offices, etc. But you really need to budget how much healthcare expenses do you think you're going to need for that year. Nobody can really project that unless you're going to have a surgery or something, because you certainly do not want to lose or leave behind any benefits in that plan for that year. They can expire after the year and sometime after that.
And I want to move on to something that's maybe a little more fun for people to think about, is traveling. And I know that's something that can change a lot, especially in retirement. You have more time and, it's very tempting to go on all these trips. So what are some recommendations you have for how to budget best for traveling?
Well, traveling, even for a young federal employee, I traveled to 39 states while I was a federal employee. And I tried to take advantage of where I was, to try to extend that trip if I could. But traveling on different websites provide different types of pricing, and also different days of the week are critical for airlines. And you need to research that out. Think about flights, hotels, rental cars. You'd be surprised if you check out various different websites like Expedia. If you're a Costco member, check out the Costco website. You will be amazed at difference in pricing for various types of travel. And as a young federal employee, or now that I'm a retiree, I want to travel. I've always loved traveling. So you need to be careful with your spending on traveling.
I definitely will be taking that advice to heart. I enjoy traveling a lot myself. Thanks, Abe. And, one last one on your list. You talked about 5 different areas of spending. So we're now at the last one. And this is about communication. Can you explain a little bit more what you mean by that?
Yes, certainly if you have a spouse or a life partner, or you're in a relationship where you're living with someone, you need to communicate with that person regarding expenditures.
Abe Grungold, retired federal manager and owner of AG Financial Services, speaking with Federal News Network's Drew Friedman. We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Subscribe to the Federal Drive wherever you get your podcasts.